What are these tyre marks, by the way, Tom? Looks like someone's been doing donuts here.
Yeah, it's probably best not to ask about that just now. Big news for 2026. We're here at our new factory, which is so exciting. I'm here with our technical director, Kevin, and we're going to give you a look around.
So this year is a crucial year for us. We're getting cars into production and into customers' hands.
Feel great. Car's insane.
So this is, as Tom said, a new factory in the heart of Wotton-under-Edge, 2 miles away from where we've been operating up until now. Come in.
Here we are, new factory.
Yep, we've got 9 build bays, ready to start building some cars. And just last week, had delivery of our very first tub. So let's go have a look. Here she is, new chassis for the Spéirling PURE.
This is the first production spec chassis that we've made out of this place, which is absolutely wild. It feels like such a special moment to actually be able to feel and touch this thing. It's such a key car for us, and I feel like I really hope we're going to have like a long and prosperous relationship with her as we build her up into something special.
There's been a lot of changes between this tub and the tub for the previous vehicles, and a lot of hours, countless hours designing this, making all the changes, but it's all been worth it. So you notice it's a lot bigger than the previous tub. The shape is still the same around the canopy, around the central part of the tub, but we've increased the size of the tub to fit a bigger battery, 50 kilowatt hours on this side and 50 kilowatt hours on the other side. We've increased the length of the tub because the wheelbase has increased to 2.2 meters instead of 2 meters. So you'll notice it's a bit longer, and we've made sure to make the cockpit even more spacious and improve the visibility for all our customers. In fact, we even had one of our customers that has size 14 race boots. We got him to send over his boots so we could actually make sure they fit.
Honestly, seeing the size of the footwell, I can believe it. It's cavernous. It's amazing.
Have a look how much better the access is around here. So you remember helping us those like late nights trying to get the car ready for Goodwood back in 2021. What a nightmare was to get in here and assemble everything, and there was no access whatsoever. Now I can fit my hand through the brush hole.
I remember we had to basically employ people with small hands just to be able to do anything on the drive shafts.
Yeah.
The door's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. Move the A-pillar over, move this part rearwards. We've made sure to make the door bigger, increase the elbow room as well. So move these areas outwards. How does it feel?
It just feels huge in here. Like I'm 6 foot tall, and my feet must be a good foot from the bulkhead. I can believe you're going to get a 7-foot man in here or woman. That's unbelievable. And I've got so much. It's just cavernous, isn't it? It's like a TARDIS in here. It's on another planet, isn't it, compared to the old car? So the old car, you would see, it looked like you were looking through a little letterbox. This is, I swear we've got 40% more panorama. It's wild.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've driven the silver car round Laguna, and some of your feedback to me was you were struggling to see the apex in the first corner.
Yeah, it was.
Now picture yourself driving down the straight at Laguna, coming up to the first corner.
I can't get over this. It's completely different, and the roll hoop's moved over as well, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
For something that's actually intended to be just an evolution of the car, it's wildly better, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of the feedback from all of the people who've driven the car has been vital in us, achieving this for now.
That foot ledge is so good. I can just go, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. That should make it much easier to get out of the car.
So the thing that's crazy, I mean, this year, this is 20 years now of us building cars together, right? And I look around here and I think, what that original team that we created at University of Bath, what would they say today if they could walk in here and look at our factory?
I really don't think they'd be surprised. It was, you know, we lived and that was our life, building cars.
I come in here and it just makes me feel so good because it reminds me of Mercedes Formula One. It reminds me of not just the wonder of how have we got here, but to have created something that is the essence of motorsport and quality and where we can hand make these cars.
I mean, you know, when we met first year of uni, both of our dream was to work in Formula One. That's all we wanted to do. We both went, we did that, and we realised we can do more than this, and this is it.
Talk me through how we're going to build these things.
So 9 build bays. Each build bay, we're going to have 3 technicians per bay. We start off with a bare tub. Sub-assemblies are being built up in a room just behind those double doors that we'll take you through in a second. And yeah, sub-assemblies will come out and go straight onto the tub, and we build up the cars, hand-built, right here.
So I'm intrigued. What's your favourite colour? I hadn't realised we'd got such a selection of colours now that we're offering to customers.
Well, my favourite colour was this, because I picked this colour, and then I picked the blue one. So my colours are sorted, but what I did here, I asked every member of staff what their favourite colour was, and we just ended up with a plethora of different colours and different options that we can offer to our customers. I think the car will look good in any of these, to be fair.
Really, when you get these pearlescent paints as well, it's really going to pop. Yeah, I'm so excited to see them come to fruition.
What are the spec sessions been like with our customers?
Unreal. The passion there is for the cars that we're building for the customers, it's just been absolutely out of this world. We've been spending so much time and effort just trying to get to exactly the right shade of a colour and to get the details right, exactly how we pinstripe, how we put extra colour and shape into the design. Honestly, it's been an absolute labour of love for the customers, and I'm so excited for the kind of designs that they're putting forward.
Yeah.
It's just a joy to be a part of it. It really is.
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen some of the renders that have been coming through, and oh my, they're all so different, and each one is like, oh my god, I can't wait to see that in real life.
Tell me about this.
So these are our very own McMurtry gearboxes for the car. Essentially, this takes all the power and torque from the motors and delivers them to the wheels.
They look so light, and what are the housings made of?
Aluminium, cast aluminium, and very high strength gears, steel gears inside.
So, but you're telling me that this tiny little unit will take 1,000 horsepower from our motors and transmit it to the wheels?
Absolutely.
But that looks like a normal gearbox would be 5 times the size.
Picked this up myself, quite easily.
That's unbelievable.
And we've actually, both of these boxes have just been testing over at Yates, doing some durability and efficiency testing.
So McMurtry is at the forefront of technology development. So we have to make sure that we are testing things to their limits and push the boundaries of what is possible. Hi, my name is Vinny Cruz. I'm head of vehicle testing at McMurtry Automotive. So we've got here our motors, our gearbox and drive shafts connected to huge dynos. And the testing that we're doing here is to deal with efficiency of our assembly and also durability of our gearboxes and drive shafts.
So we've learnt an awful lot about the gearboxes. We've put a load of mileage in them. In fact, they've done way more than any customer's gearbox is ever going to do. And we've learnt some things that are great about it. So efficiency is really great, durability is way better than we expected. And we've learned where the gearbox needs improvement, so which areas need to be a bit thicker and need a bit more strength. Each one of these 500 horsepower.
Which is utterly, utterly outrageous. I mean, if you wanted a 500 horsepower engine, it would have big turbos on it, and I reckon it would be, again, maybe 5, even more times the size of something like this. And the machining on it just looks fantastic.
And we've got drive shafts over here. So
Goodness me.
these are actually a lot lighter. They're completely hollow, gun drilled.
Can I feel a whip?
Yeah. You can see it's a bit greasy in here, but yeah.
I love that we've got super technical ways of keeping the grease in as well. Goodness, that feels like it could deal with an awful lot of torque, but it's gun drilled as well. It's really, really light,
very
isn't
simple. This is our sub-assembly room. So this is where we build all the systems, all the components up before they actually make their way and fit onto the tub. Here we have a complete outboard assembly. These are in fact the biggest carbon ceramic discs that Brembo make. Obviously with all the downforce that our car generates, you can really stamp on the brakes and really use that braking power and get up to 4G braking.
Nice, and we've got the same discs and pads front and rear, haven't we?
We do. Every single corner is the same.
And if I've understood correctly, that's because we've got so much downforce that actually we can still use that huge amount of braking power even on a rear.
Absolutely. So in a normal car, when you harden the brakes, the whole weight transfers to the front of the car, and the front brakes are doing most of the work. Whereas having that downforce all the time means that you can still make really good use of the rear brakes. Wheel nut with our patented wheel nut locking system. So in the previous car, if we wanted to strap the car down, we had to take the wheel nut off, put in a much bigger wheel nut that had lots of hoops that you can actually use to strap the car down through the hubs. Whereas now we've got this, it threads in, and then strap the car via these on each corner.
That's mega. So that from a customer's perspective, that's going to save them 20 minutes every time they need to transport the car.
Exactly that.
Brilliant.
Part of the reason we've been hiring so many more people is to have a dedicated inspection team. So this is our inspection room, and inspection's really important to make sure that all the parts that come in, get measured, get checked, that all the tolerances are correct, all the parts are as we expect them to be. They'll be able to be assembled correctly, that we're not going to have any issues during build, but also that the performance when they're in the customer's hand is going to be as expected.
I don't know how many people who know us as a car company will know what this particular device is. It normally lives on a CMM just like this one. All the way back to the early career of Sir David McMurtry, when he was Assistant Chief Engineer on the Olympus engine for the Concorde aeroplane, he had a particular challenge in measuring exactly what the tolerance was of the turbine blades that they manufactured at that point. And we're talking 60 plus years ago here. And Sir David, in his garage, came up with a very simple invention called the touch trigger probe. This probe is a ball on the end of a little stick, and it's got a 3-point contact hidden away under this shroud. And that 3-point contact is a tripod. And the very first invention he created enabled him to measure using the touch of the ball onto the component exactly what the tolerance was of the part he manufactured. And that whole business grew into Renishaw, which has become this wonderful, multinational, hugely successful measurement company. And the success of that business enabled us as McMurtry Automotive to begin and to exist.
As you can see here, we're measuring an upright. We're making sure that all the dimensions are as specified by the drawing. The reason why that's so important specifically for the upright, the bearing bores, where those bearings that you saw fit, if the fit is not right, they can either fall out, or if it's too tight, you get damage on the bearings, and your whole outboard will have issues. So we need to make sure that those tolerances are exactly as we specify.
It makes me hugely proud that we are still using the technology that Sir David McMurtry invented nearly 60 years ago to measure the bores for the bearings in our uprights that are going to go into the customer cars for McMurtry Automotive Limited.
So here we're in stores, not the most glamorous of the rooms in our building, but one of the most important ones we have. So parts will come in through goods in, they'll come on the shelf, they get unpacked, and then they get scanned in, logged into our system, and then they go off for laser part marking, and then they find their way to the shelves. And that's where the whole traceability starts. We'll serialize, we'll know what the part is. When it goes out to sub-assembly, that'll get checked out, and we'll know on which car, on what, we have full traceability of the parts.
So this is an amazing library of parts, isn't it, that we're starting to get in now? And to see all the production parts coming through is just amazing.
Exactly, yeah.
And this is the part marker.
Yep, so yeah, well, the parts will come in, they'll come on the bed. You can see there's a hydraulic manifold on there. And then there'll be a laser that will etch the part number onto the part.
Perfect, and built it ourselves. I hope you've really enjoyed seeing the new factory. It's still a work in progress, but my goodness, the pace of development is amazing. We've shown you a bit of our build bays, some sub-assembly, some goods in inspection and stores. And my goodness, we can't wait to build these customer cars very, very soon.